Right. Right. Okay. So last week then I meant to do some pencil drawing exercises with you, but got distracted because everything went off. So this evening we're going to have a go at a couple of things. So we're going to do a blind drawing, and then we're going to do a continuous line drawing as well. So two techniques where I'm going to give you a certain amount of time to do it in. And then there are a couple of other things we did today, or one other thing specifically we did today. But other than that, we're going to continue working with the colour pencils. And I've got a couple more examples of work that I did today to show you, and one that I'm currently working on too. Now we did use Brusho inks at the class today and powders. Obviously you've probably not got those at home, so it'll be a case of using a different type of background, but I'll still show you what I did so that you understand a little bit about the Brushos, and a little bit later I'll get them out as well. So right, I'll start off. Before I do anything else, we'll start with the blind drawing then. So I'll go straight over to my desk. These are some of the things we did before. Now, blind drawing then is a really interesting one, because it forces you to look at the subject that you're drawing more closely, and then coordinate your hand with it. But the name blind drawing actually is what it says. It means you don't actually look at what you're drawing as you draw it, but it teaches you to look more closely at the subject that you're drawing. Okay, so I'm going to do a very quick one using a pencil, and then I'm going to ask you to do it as well. So when you do this, what you've got to do is hold up your picture to the side. Now I'm left-handed, so I've got to swap over. Hold up your picture to the side and turn away from your paper. So this is a bit difficult on camera. But so I'm going to hold up my picture, and I'm not going to look at my screen either, so I won't be looking at you while doing this. I'm going to try and look over there or something. So what you've got to do is you've got to look at the photograph and just draw what you're actually looking at. Now the end result will not necessarily be beautiful, although some people would say that some of the marks from a blind drawing are, but it's about learning to look more closely at what you're drawing. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick one of those. I'm just trying to figure out how to sit without looking. Okay, so I'm looking away from my paper and my screen and just at my picture of a heron that I've got here. There it is. So I did this the other day actually, this one. So I'm just going to start drawing, and you should be able to just about see what I'm doing. I'll zoom in a little bit as well so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so you're probably going to do this for about a minute altogether, and then we're going to try another technique after that. Okay, so here we go. So I'm just drawing the heron's beak and his eye, and there's a stripe on the back of his head. I'm going around his neck, bottom of his face, and down his front where he's got feathers coming down the front of his breast or chest, and then you'll notice I am using a one-line draw, and it helps me to keep track of where I am actually. So, but I've got no idea where I am actually. Right, and then I'm going to put his leg in here, and the log that he's sitting on as well. Okay. Oh my gosh, right. So the end result is not the aim necessarily, but he's actually got 2 eyes there because I drew the eyes twice. But the aim is that you're actually looking at this and obviously using your hand at the same time, but it teaches you to look more closely at your picture. So what you're going to need to start this lovely little exercise off, I'm just going to put in a bit more. What you need to do is you need to get yourself a piece of paper, a pencil, and a picture. So I hope that have you all got those things?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So a blind drawing. This is something that we do a lot at school actually with the kids, and they always have a good time because it's really funny what the results are and things like that. Okay. So I'm gonna time you. I'll use my clock on here. I've got a little timer. There we go. So I'm going to time you for 1 minute, and you've got to sort of turn away from your paper and look very closely at your photograph and nothing else. And don't look back until we're finished. Okay? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go then. And go. So remember, keep looking at the shapes, the form, the detail. So let your eye wander around the picture and your pencil follow it. So you can create a masterpiece like mine. Okay, that's half a minute. And 10 seconds. And stop. There. Hey, I love the laughs. It's always a good one.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Well, look at mine. I'm not...
Oh, yeah, yes.
Right. Okay. Now, that's one of those. We can do some more of those if you want to.
No, thank you.
So here I have a picture of a warthog with it's got a hang on, there we go. It's got a little what are they called, meerkat sitting on its nose. So I'm going to do a picture of this in a short amount of time again. But this is called a single line drawing, and you may have heard of a single line drawing before. Or it's also called taking a line for a walk. So once you start drawing, you're not allowed to take your pencil off the page, and you have to keep moving as well. You can't stop, and you've got to draw the whole thing within the time that you're given. Okay, so I'm going to start on this little meerkat's head just over here. Can you hear my dog?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. Right, so I'm going to start up here with my meerkat's head, and I'm going to work my way down. Let's see. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll also put my little clock on. Just put it there, and I'll put my meerkat there, and I'll zoom out slightly so you can see what I'm doing. Right, okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you a little bit longer. I'm going to give you 5 minutes, but I'm only going to do it for about a minute, I think. A minute and a half, let's say. Let's see how far I get. Right, here we go then. Okay.
Are you supposed to have started, Jamie?
No, this is just me doing one to show you. So in a minute you're going to have a go.
At this particular picture.
No, you can do the same picture you've got already, or you can find a brand new one if you've got one there, or one you've done before, or any picture really, I suppose. So I've already had 30 seconds. Let's see if I can get in. How long did I say? A minute and a half, wasn't it? Let's see if I can get his whole body in. And his legs. So that's a minute. Keep looking at the clock and not the picture. How about that? His fur.
But you've done it before.
So the key is to keep looking at what you're drawing, but keep your hand moving. So I'm coordinating my hand with my eyes, what I'm looking at the same time. There you go. There we go. So a single line drawing in a very short amount of time. I'm just adding to it now. But so yes, I've already had a really, that means I've had a really good close look at what I'm drawing. I've learned something about it. I've also been practicing coordinating my hand with my eyes as well, and at speed. So I'm not kind of stopping that process of looking between my picture and my drawing, my picture and my drawing. I'm constantly looking between the two, and that trains you again to look really closely at what you're doing. Okay, so we will have should we have 5 minutes on this one then? Has everyone got another picture to use, or the same one?
Can I be really thick? So am I allowed to look at the picture I'm drawing?
Yes, yes, no, sorry. Yeah, you're not. Last week, people asked me the same question, so that's right. Yes, you can look at the picture, you can look at your paper, so it's not a blind drawing anymore. It's just literally a single line drawing. So you don't take your pencil off the page until we get to the end. You need to keep drawing, in other words. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Marvellous, lovely. All right, I'll zoom in to my clock so you can check the time if you want to. So are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Go. Single line drawing with one line for the whole picture. I'm going to do a bit more work on this warthog and meerkat. They seem very friendly with each other. Oh, that's my clock. There you go. That's a minute gone.
Oh dear. It's a bit frightening.
Trouble is, when you're using a pencil like this, it runs out of lead.
I think I've got to do less feathers.
think my meerkat's a little bit bigger than the one in the photo. Pencil. That's 3 minutes nearly.
Oh,
Muddy, very muddy warthog. Zoom out a bit again. Very cheeky meerkat, this. Okay, 50 seconds.
wow.
Sometimes, even if you think you've finished, it's worth continuing with doing these because even
Oh.
working over them because you see more.
Pencil wears out.
Yeah, it's happened to me. I've had to stop and pick up a different pencil. Right, 8 seconds to go.
I have to
3,
say I'm going home, but I am home.
2, 1. Finished. There you go.
Ah, thanks for that.
Yeah,
I like it.
let's have a look.
I like doing that.
You got it?
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
It's this chap.
Oh yeah, the pelican.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
enjoyed
nice.
doing it.
It's nice, isn't
arms,
it?
my hand's aching.
Yeah, just okay, everybody, do this now.
I've just seen your warthog. He looks great now.
I'm quite pleased with him. He's got a lot of character, hasn't he? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice. Yeah,
I've done an owl, Jamie.
an owl. Let's have a look. Let's just replace the pin.
Wonky.
Oh, very nice.
Lovely.
I like his big claws, actually. Yeah,
The
yeah.
pencil slipped.
Well done, well done. Right,
Light.
sorry.
Light.
Oh,
I
hang
love
on.
that.
Let me have a look. Wait. Let me just make it bigger. Oh, lovely.
I'm really slow.
Yeah,
Hard.
it's a brilliant exercise. It is actually one of my favourite ways to draw, actually.
Oh wow, that's great, Jackie. I love the grill.
Oh, hang on. I can't see. Where is he? Oh, there we go. Hang on. Replace pin. Oh, brilliant.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love the grill actually as well. And the way that the figure's leaning on the car. Awesome.
I just do this from now on.
Yeah, just that's it. That's it. We've got a style we can work with now. We'll just do that all the time.
Lots of pencils.
Right. Next thing is
Worn out.
you
We're
can-
all worn out.
so this is what we did at class today. I'll show you. So and you'll remember this if you did classes with me before. It's a bit like the charcoal drawings we did with the reductive technique, if you remember that. So I did this picture of this tiger in water, which is this one just here. I did that earlier on today. And basically all you need to do this, and it's about negative space drawing, is you need to cover your page with graphite to about a mid-tone, so not too dark, not too light. So just going to cover that over and go back. I'll go back the other way as well. So you can use a pencil if you haven't got one of these big chunky sticks. That's absolutely fine. Pencil's exactly the same thing. This just covers quite a lot of ground quite quickly. And when you've done that, you can then use a piece of cloth. I've got a J cloth here. Rub it all over so it's nice and smooth. I could probably do with a bit more on there, but that's okay for now. And then I've got these photos here, so you can use your own photo again. If you've got one, or you need to print one off, that's also obviously something you can do. So fold it into 4. This sheet of paper, you can see that I've also divided that into 4 quarters. So negative space drawing teaches you a different way of looking at your subject. Okay, so it's about looking at the spaces in the background. It's also called reductive drawing, because you're starting with a tonal sort of ground, and then you're removing the highlights, if you like, or the negative shapes in between. So if you then fold your piece of paper into quarters, like I've already done here, you can then see where in this quarter those shapes will be. And for this, you'll need a kind of harder rubber as opposed to a putty rubber. And if you go wrong, all you do is just go over it again and rub it away, and you can then get your rubber out and apply it again. Okay, so I'm not going to do that little duckling, I think, at the moment. I'm just going to get the shape of this bird. So we come up here, and you make corrections really as you go along as well. You know, you can work out. See, I've got his neck slightly in the wrong spot. I'm just going to rub that back away and start again. Let's move it around a little bit and get the back of his neck in and come across there. So the idea is, once you can see the shape of your subject, you can then start to apply some of the darker tones in there as well. So could do that neck probably a bit better or a bit clearer, but for this we'll just get it in. Rub out most of the background, and then the bottom half, or the bottom quarter, you can see where his legs are, or her legs, depending on who's looking after the kids at the moment. And it comes across there, goes up slightly and off the back. And then I can also put in the shadow, which is just over halfway down.
Me?
Yeah.
Can I just ask you which of your charcoal stick that you started with? Was it one of these graphite pencils?
It's just graphite, so it's not charcoal. This is.
So it's a graphite pencil. What I've got 6B I've got a bit, and a 2B.
So probably out of the two, probably a 6B, but don't apply too much pressure on there. If you see what I'm saying. So don't make it too dark, because
I've
if you
got a 9B as well, but should I stick
oh
with
yeah,
6?
6B, yeah, yeah. If you apply too much pressure, then you might find it difficult to remove it, if you see what I mean, afterwards. So don't overdo it. There we go. Right, and I've got his body. I'll do his reflection down here. Put that little baby in a minute. There we go. Little baby. It's quite difficult to do it at that size, so I'm just going to keep it simple. So there we go. So I've got the basic sort of shape. I think I've missed a bit back there. That'll do. All right, and then I can get my pencil and have a quick look at my shapes and things, and I can start to then put in some of this detail with my dark, and this is the bit where it starts really to have a life of its own. It's also got quite a nice character to it, these types of drawings. I think they've got a softness to them that is quite, you know, atmospheric, I think, and quite pleasing, which I enjoy. And the nice thing about this way of drawing with the reductive technique is that it can be quite quick to begin with. So you know, you break the ice with the paper quite early on, and then you start to see the picture emerge tonally quite quickly. So see, I'm just mapping in a lot of these details on the feathers. There's some little duckies in the background as well, some little quackers. And put those in really loosely. Those in there, like that. And then I can open it all up now, probably. There's his feathers on the back, spiking out, and that's probably just a little bit low there, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. And it's a shadowy leg, and then I can start to put those bits in underneath, and then where his bottom is a bit lighter, I'll just highlight that by rubbing it, neaten it up round there. There we go. So if I come back out again, I haven't quite got the shape of his neck right there, but I can alter it if I want to. Okay, so you then start to put in these details, and of course you can work into the background again if you've taken it out. I can put some of the reflections that are behind the bird towards the back. So that's the third exercise of them all. Had a go. No, obviously you haven't had a go, but you can try that exercise next. And really, after that, it's the this lesson is about carrying on with your pencil drawing. So I did this one last week on an acrylic background. So I painted a flat acrylic background with the paint and then worked back over the top with my colour pencils. So we did that one last lesson. And then I finished off this robin as well. And then today, this is what I did today. I prepared a background with the Brusho ink. So this kind of effect that you can see here can be achieved to a degree with watercolors, but there are certain elements that are quite interesting about the Brushos. These little bits here is actually the powder from the Brusho. I'll do a little one in a few minutes so you can see. But the Brusho comes in a powdered form, and you can throw it onto the paper and spray it with water, and it kind of explodes and spreads out and creates these lovely effects. So I use that as a background today. You can also do it with watercolors, as you know, and I might have said this last week, but I did this similar thing, look, with watercolors. So you put water down on the surface in different spots, you put your paint down on top of that, and you let the paint blend into the different colors, so then when it's dry you can work back over the top. And obviously on this it's quite vivid, but I've used pinks and blues to apply the shadows that are on the bird just over here. I've got a picture of the bird I can show you, not that one, that's what I'm doing now. So here's the bird, and you can see these beautiful shadows. Now you might just think ordinarily grey, that's grey, but once you start looking, you start to spot other colours within there that you can apply or even exaggerate, which is probably really what I've done, is exaggerated the colours. So look, all down his back there's this lovely pink, and then on the other side, on his main part of his wing, there's yellow in there. So there's lots of ways you can apply these colours and actually creating a background first. So I created this really bright background here, and that dictated how I used the colours on top, really, because I had to really work into this area using colour pencils, but also I used a little bit of a white pen on top. And I've got these, they came this week, I've got these lovely acrylic pens which can paint on anything, basically from ceramics to metal, and you can work back over them, work back over your picture.
Where from, Jamie?
Guess.
Amazon.
Amazon. Yeah. So look, you can draw when you mix the paint enough. You can draw on top of any part of the picture and really make it pop. So really nice to use. If you've got white pen at home, that's just as good, or if you use white acrylic paint, that's also lovely to use. I just spotted a bit down his beak there, on there, so just
Pause it now.
yeah. There's a little bit there, look, on his beak. I'll put that in and then use my finger to blot it off.
Beautiful painting, I love that.
I'm quite pleased with it as well. I did enjoy doing it. The nice thing, I think I chose a nice picture to do this with, because this photo, look, has got this wonderful sense of light where it's hitting. So I mean, the fact that you can add these strong highlights in on the bird, and then you can add these colours in, really helps to make the picture, you know, look interesting, I think. And the water's, obviously I've done the water differently as well, but a lot of fun. So I've been doing the same thing with this ibis as well, but I've So I've started this one today as well this afternoon. So I'll just get rid of Mr. Stork and I'll put Mr. Ibis on. So I looked at this photo and I thought, what on earth is that? Because look at him. He's even got his own bangle.
Yeah, looks like a flamingo.
Yeah, I know. But it's an ibis, and I photo. The reason I know it's an ibis is because I photographed it on, and then while I was on Google, because you can photograph things on Google and it'll find out what these things are. So, but I really liked his head, how scruffy it looks, and spiky, and the wonderful colours. So I thought I'd have a go at doing that one.
A man's picture.
Oh, what? Sorry.
A man's picture.
Why is it a man's picture?
It's got masculine about it.
Oh, was it? Okay. So I've started him anyway, and I've also been putting in the reflections or the ripples on the water, and I might put a bit of his where you can see the reflections in the water. I might do that, get around to it. But again, nice sense of light as well.
You haven't made this one quite so red and orange though.
No, yeah, I just haven't got that far yet.
Oh, you haven't got that far. Right, okay.
Yeah, but I will do.
And you missed his bangle off.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Should I put his bangle on, do you think?
I don't know. It's up to you. You're the artist.
Yeah, all right. I'll see. If he's a good bird, I'll give him a bangle.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Really lovely.
It is.
Yeah.
So this was, I added a bit of bleach into the Brusho on this as well. But it wasn't particularly strong, so it didn't really matter. You just work straight over the top of a background like this with the pens and really soft pencils. So the pencil that I use is this one. It's a Derwent Chinese white Derwent drawing pencil, and it says 7,200 on it. I don't know what that means, but it's really, really nice. Okay, so now I've yabbered on for 45 minutes. I hope everybody's got something to do. Well, actually, we've been doing other stuff, haven't we? So.
Learned a lot. Thank you.
Okay.
Jamie, you're going to show us how to use the Brusho now then, because I've never seen that. I've never heard of that before.
All right, yeah, I'll get some out and I'll do a little demo of
That
it.
looks right up my street.
Yeah.
It's lovely, isn't it?
All right then. I'll go and get the bits. Hang on.
Okay.
You carry on. I'll be back in a sec.
Radio.
So all in all, then we've got the pencils to carry on with. I mean the reductive technique. If you want to try that, if you've got work you'd rather get on with and finish off first, then please do that. Gonna find some paper. Right, I'll get rid of Irene the ibis. There we go. So these are the, if you want to see this, these are the Brusho inks, quite old now. They come in a box like this, and you get these little containers. So the little containers have this powder inside of it, really fine powder with heavy pigments in it, so quite a lot of colour in. And they come in loads and loads of different colours, but I think this, how many was this box? I think this was 12, 15 gram things, but they really do last. You know, you can get a lot out of them. And what you do is you mix them with water, and you get loads and loads of ink, basically. And you can paint with this ink, which is what I've done on a few of these. That robin that I did earlier, I used a couple of the inks and just painted a flat colour. But on this bit here you can see that I've also used the inks, but I've put on some salt, and you'll have seen that in watercolour, I think, before. And this bit here, that's where I put bleach on. So you put bleach on and it just takes the colour out. Sometimes it changes the colour, but most of the time it takes the colour out. All right. Okay, so yeah, I spent quite a lot of time talking and demonstrating in this lesson. So this little bit is much shorter than usual, and I started this picture of the ibis, who ended up with the name Idris during the lesson. I started this earlier on in the day at our Earthenborough class, so it was a case of me finishing off the drawing of this. I did quite a few layers of colour and quite a lot of blending and reworking the paper. This paper was very thin paper. It was actually just normal cartridge paper, but once you start working into this paper quite a lot, you end up with tears, so that it ends up that you have quite a bit of limitation with layering and things. But that was okay, because I did manage to keep going without ruining the paper too much. And I used one of these acrylic pens that I mentioned earlier. I think I mentioned it earlier. There are Sunis acrylic pens that will work on lots of different surfaces, including ceramics, paper, glass, metal, cloth, and even skin. So these that pen really helped me to put in some of those highlights that you can see on Idris down here. I also then used a little bit of colour just around the head and the bottom half of his body in the background, the negative shapes again, just to sort of highlight and emphasise him a little bit more. And then you can see me adding some hatching in there with my acrylic pen that I just mentioned. Brilliant for highlighting, and also it doesn't get as clogged up as some of the normal pens that you come across. So all in all, a very busy and active lesson with lots of different techniques. So yeah, I hope everybody's enjoyed this lesson, and next week we should be working with some acrylics. So thank you very much, and see you soon.